everyone. This is Rennie Powell from RenniePowellSpeaks.com coming to you live from my hometown in Temecula, California. I just wanted to take a couple of moments and share a few thoughts with you on this Sunday morning, May 3rd, 2020. And yes, we're still going through this horrific thing known as the COVID-19 or the pandemic. And my first question for this morning is, what are you learning? What are we learning as we go through this pandemic? And one of my thoughts was, of course, gratefulness, kindness, the importance of understanding what matters most, and also, just the kind words and thinking about and saying to the ones that you love that you really care about them. And we get caught up in the rat race. We have in the past. I think this is a reset for almost everyone on the planet. And we'll reset in our own ways. Our lives have been changed and will change, and we can look to the future and be one of the architects of the future and decide for ourselves how we're going to go in and attack the future and design our new lives and a new way of living and thriving. We want to remind people that you can thrive in this new world, and you can be a part of it as long as you're not getting yourself down in the dumps. And yes, there are some horrible things happening. People are suffering. We've lost people, dear ones, loved ones, and friends, and so forth. But on the other side of that is the gratefulness and the kindness and sharing the love that you might have for your family and for your friends and just the world in general. And understanding how life has changed, but also how significant and important life is or could be to you. And what are we being reminded of? Well, the absolute most important thing that I'm being reminded of, aside from the love of my family and the caring for my friends and the love of my friends and people who have meant something important in my life, is just how very precious life is in general. And I think this is a reset, and it's time for us to think about that and really ponder that thought. I was fortunate enough to be a part of a mastermind event this past weekend with my friend Craig Duswalt. It's his mastermind, and I'm a new member. And I got to tell you, the 2.5-day event and just the energy and the speakers that came on board. Les Brown came on towards the end of yesterday. But even more significant than that for me was something that was said by Glenn Morshower. And I'm going to use it. It is something that is stuck in my mind overnight, and I slept on it. It's something that I speak to. It's one of the steps in the process that I help coach people through, and it's all about mindset. And I even said to Craig that, hey, Craig, one day in the future, I'm going to ask Glenn Morshower, with your help, of course, to come to one of my events and just talk about mindset and go into the thinking part of what he shared with us. But I want to share something that stuck in my mind about mindset, that I slept on it, and it's just so important. But yet even though I talk about mindset as one of the steps in my process, I hadn't thought about it from the standpoint of what Glenn shared. So I'm going to share that with you, and I just want you to think about that in terms of where you are today and where you could be if you get it in your head right. He talked about, let's just call it 4 rooms. He called it the 4 mindsets. And he referenced room as if that's where you were perhaps, or you could be. And if you are, the idea would be to get out of that room and get to the next room, and then to the next room. And as quickly as possible, I might add. And the first is the person who sees everything as impossible. He called it impossibility. In other words, no matter what, no, they're stuck in no right away. And he said people who say no all the time to everything is that person who is not going to, they're rigid, they're stuck, and they won't move. They won't move forward for sure. And then he talked about room number 2, or getting to the second mindset, and that's the mindset of possibility, where you're open to hearing at least. You're listening, and you're able to at least hear or listen to people. and listen to what's possible. In other words, well, maybe. Possibility relates to maybe. It's a sense of neutrality that, hey, I am listening, I'm throwing my opinions aside, and I'm just listening for now. And then he talked about room 3, or getting to this next location, which is probability. And those are where people see things as likely. This will likely happen. And he used the analogy of a couple of football teams who seem to always win. And as I recall, one of them were the New England Patriots, where the mindset of the players, the mindset of the coach or coaches, is that we see this next game, whatever it is, as likely that we're going to win. So if you have a person, a team, a champion who looks at the world or looks at their next race or looks at their next event as it's likely that I will succeed, then the probability is so much higher that that person will succeed. And then you have those who come from the mindset of inevitability. Inevitability, and it's a tough word, but it means yes. It's the macro part of it. The micro is probability, it's likely to happen, but in the macro sense, inevitability is yes, it will happen. If you see yourself as successful, if you see yourself as doing it, as achieving it, if you can get in your head, your mindset, that it not only is it likely, it will, yes, it will occur. It will happen. I will achieve. I will overcome the challenges that we face. That's a good place to try to be right now. And if you need help doing that, there are lots of people willing to help. We're not all going to be in the same mindset every day, all the time, but it's certainly something to go for, to grow for, to aim for, to shoot for. So my thought today on this Sunday morning, May 3rd, 2020, as we go through and move through this place where we are today, is that we need to look out to the future. We must somehow get to, not only is it likely that we're going to achieve what we want to achieve in life, that we're going to achieve our health, that we're going to achieve a mindset that says it's likely that I'm going to be healthy. It's likely that I'm going to have a healthy day. It's likely that I'm going to succeed today. And then move to that next level where it is inevitable that I will achieve, that my family will succeed, that whatever I'm going after, I can do it, have it, achieve it. Whatever it is. Think about that. Wouldn't it be great to have it in your mind that you're unstoppable, that you were created to be more, do more, get more out of life, and achieve greater success, however you decide that is for you, whatever success is for you, because we can relate to the word success. It's not always about money. It's not always about anything that you think other people want. It's about what you and how you define success in your life. And so we talk a lot about that at my events, and I was honored to be a part of this. I'm honored to be a part of this mastermind. I think that it's going to not only elevate me to the next level, but Craig Duswalt, shout out to him. He's a wonderful individual, a wonderful speaker, wonderful motivator, inspiration. Of course, he's an influencer, and he knows a lot of other influencers who are just people, just everyday people like us who happen to be somewhere else because they live in room 3 and 4. Most of them live in 4. And they're going to inspire us. I'm going to try to inspire you to get to level 3 and 4, to get to room 3 and 4, to get that mindset where anything and everything is possible if you put in the work, if you breathe, connect with the right people, people who are like-minded, people who want more, who want to give back to the world, create a legacy, leave something behind that other people can use to better or to improve their lives when they come and we're no longer here. This is Randy Powell from Randy Powell Speaks. It's May 3rd, 2020. And I thank you for listening to me and letting me share with you this information about mindset. I'm going to use it as I go forward. And I'm going to give Glenn Morshower, the actor, the American actor, a shout out, a thank you, which I already did. And also, he's a wonderful, wonderful human being himself. Take care and have a wonderful Sunday and do the best you can today.